Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Elliot. I know you guys are really enjoying this real unique story, but we got to pay bills around here to, make sure we provide you guys with more unique episodes. So, the sponsor is from the Non-League America, who has been exploring the diversity of the United States through the lens of soccer since 2012. Non-League America makes documentaries highlighting ambitious clubs that are pushing the boundaries of what is possible both within the confines and just outside the system, built without their interests in mind. These clubs are building the foundation of American soccer community from the ground up. So, if you support us, go support them. Check out their latest documentary, Non League America, Volume 15, More Than Ready, the story of Goldsboro Strike Eagles FC on Facebook or YouTube. And also make sure to follow them and Non League USA on Twitter or on Facebook. So, with that being said, here's back to the episode. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the latest episode of Can I Kick It? This is your host, as always, Elliot Barr, and is joining me is my good man with the smooth hair and our first episode in Black History Month. Power to the people.
Shania Duran II.
What's going on, my good man?
Oh, I've been doing good. Took some time off. It's been a while.
It has been.
Yeah.
We had a good little break, enjoy the holidays, my birthday. Also, it's Black History Month.
Yeah.
It's Celebrate Black History Month 365, not only through the 28 days in February. Just want to start off with that. But today's episode, man, we are talking about someone that I will probably refer to as Mr. USMNT. I feel like he's Mr. USMNT, but I also feel like he falls into this weird period where he retired before we got a chance to really see him, but the legacy of him is so great that he sticks around, and that's Mr. Cobi Jones.
Yes, Cobi and Guy Jones, man. This man. I mean, I remember seeing a lot of him. The biggest thing about him was his pace, his flair. I mean, the stuff that he'd pull off on the field was absolutely amazing. He's right now 50 years old, so he's been retired for a little while now, but he definitely does have a legacy. National Soccer Hall of Fame member, definitely, and much deserved. He's probably, and I'm pretty sure he has the most appearances for the U.S. men's national team.
Yes. So he has the record for most appearances with 164, and then he's third on all-time assists for the USMNT with 22. Landon Donovan has that record at 58, and I don't see that record getting broken anytime soon.
No, that's not getting broken. But speaking of Landon Donovan, it's interesting that you brought him up because I feel that Landon Donovan came up in the school that was created by the Cobi Jones era, the players like Cobi Jones, Eric Winalda, Brian McBride, Alexi Lalas. Cobi Jones was U.S. men's national team player at a time where American soccer players were known as workhorses. They had engines, they could go, and if they weren't going to outplay you, they would outwork you. Mm-hmm. And I feel that you can see a lot of that influence on the way Landon Donovan played, because Landon Donovan may not have been the best skilled player, but I don't think there has ever been a game that Landon Donovan played for USA or for LA Galaxy that he did not work harder or as hard as anybody else on the pitch, and that was Cobi Jones. That was that era, and you could see even with that era of players like Eric Winalda and Brian McBride and the other players I named, Cobi Jones stood out as a workhorse. He would run and run and run, and when you thought it was time for him to stop running because he'd be tired, he'd run some more.
So, real quick on that point of you making about Cobi Jones, my profile of Cobi Jones was totally wrong until I read up on who he was and saw a couple of highlights. Because in my head, I was thinking Cobi Jones was like this electric winger that cut in, score goals, all this stuff. And that was totally wrong. He was truly is it fair to use the term the 4-4-2 winger, like his main job was just facilitate?
Yeah, he was a facilitator. I would say Cobi Jones was literally, in terms of what his job was on the field, halfway between a Neymar and a Beckham. He would cut in on several occasions, but most of the time it was to cut in to draw center backs to him to create space in the middle for Ronaldo, McBride, Donovan, whoever it was, make crash in the box. But he could also lay in some crosses from far.
So for Cobi Jones, he starts off with Westlake Warriors in 85-88. He goes to UCLA Bruins 88-91. Mind you, this kid's from Detroit, Michigan, but he finds his way to Southern California because he grew up there. But I was listening to a recent podcast, Caught Offsides on ESPN this past summer, and Cobi Jones was talking about growing up as a black man in that UCLA team around the same time as the Rodney King riots. And he was just like, it was an experience that, because back in those times, you talked about race when you were in a sports team, but it stayed in the locker room. It's not like how it is now when you have dialogue, all over the place.
You got Twitter, you got Instagram.
It was pretty much like, it's in the locker room, stays in the locker room, that's it. And he's just like, at those moments, he walked around with a lot of anger and frustration because of what was happening around him. But he knew, like, I can't show that anger and frustration because I know I'm going to get labeled as the angry black man. So that was an interesting tempo. But after he leaves UCLA, he kind of spends some time. He goes to England. He goes to Coventry City in 94-95. 24 appearances, 2 goals. This is when Coventry City are in the Premier League at the time, which, once again, blew my mind.
Yeah.
But I think his biggest stepping point was that 94 World Cup. And that was the World Cup that I think not only one put American soccer on the pedestal, but like it kind of put him on that different pedestal. It was like, it's yours.
It definitely did. And I remember... because that World Cup, that was my first introduction to live professional soccer.
I was 3 years old at the time.
Yeah,
I
was. I'm old too because I was older than 3. I remember that game, those games clearly. I remember going to Foxborough Stadium. That's how old I am. It was Foxborough Stadium, not Gillette. About going to Foxborough Stadium and watching Nigeria and Greece, and then a couple weeks later, because I think USA was in the same group, and Nigeria and USA at Foxborough Stadium, and seeing this lightning flash with dreads flying all over the field, and completely. And I remember that the United States beat Nigeria 3-2 in that game. And to be honest with you, from what I remember, the score did not tell the story of the game. It could have been a lot worse for Nigeria with the way USA was playing. I think USA, being the host nations, felt they had a point to prove. And to be honest with you, they had a very good squad to do that in the 94 World Cup. And Cobi Jones was definitely a big factor in that, in his pace, his power, his he was a nightmare for fullbacks. He was a nightmare for center backs to deal with. And those were my first memories of him as a player. And another clear memory was, I can't remember the year, but I think it was a Gold Cup Finals with Mexico. And USA was winning. They put Cobi on in like the 60-something minute. And I think within the first 5 minutes of being on the field, I think he was hacked down probably 7 or 8 times by the Mexican players. Like he was that type of player that it's like, just kick him. Literally, just kick his legs because he's a nightmare to deal with. We don't need to be dealing with this in the 75th minute. And it's like, he was, I think Mexico got a red card within that within those last 15 minutes of the game, last 30 minutes of the game. And most of their yellow cards and that red card were fouls on Cobi, and he had just come on.
And the crazy thing is, so his nickname, which I gotta say is chef's kiss, Escobar, which is also known as Schwab, but that's because of his bleached blonde dreads that he had. And the fact that I've never heard this nickname, I really got an issue with it. Because I love this nickname. You know, I have a thing for, like, unique nicknames, man. Like, I'm saying, like, that's dope as hell. But, all right, so going back to his playing career, he played for Coventry City after the 94 World Cup. He only spent 1 year. He went on trial to FC Cologne in the Bundesliga before joining Vasco da Gama. And this is something to me that I've always wanted to know, but you can never really find any direct like information on it. Like, how many Americans have played in South American soccer? Because to my knowledge, I think there's only maybe 3. And Cobi Jones is the first one I can think. I think there's 3. I might be wrong. It might be Cobi Jones might be the first one to play in like a Brazilian top
Brazilian league. Yeah.
But he only had 4 appearances. You know, only stayed for a year, scored 1 goal. But 96 MLS starts up, and he goes to LA Galaxy. And he goes to LA Galaxy. Not only does he make 306 appearances and score 70 goals, you know, all this other stuff, but his best year was 1998, where he was second in MLS with 19 goals, 13 assists, named the MLS Best 11, and was also the U.S. Soccer Athlete of the Year. Yeah. That man was in his bag that year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was in his bag that year. So when I think about Cobi Jones in MLS, first and foremost, I think about him in that. You remember the Galaxy had that jersey that was like green, black?
Yeah. Yes.
I can't think of the name of the jersey. It had a name for it. But I distinctly remember him in that jersey.
Yep. The green and black, yes. I'm sorry, it's hitting me because I'm just having this flashbacks of MLS Cup at Gillette Stadium and Galaxy.
It sounded like I feel like I hit a sore spot.
Huh?
I feel like I hit a sore spot.
Yeah. And just walking out of the stadium, walking out to the sound of an interview on the PA system with Cobi Jones after he lifted the trophy, I was like, it was one of those bittersweet moments. It was like, yeah, good for you, Cobi, but you beat my team.
But that's the thing about Cobi Jones. Like, Cobi Jones was like, I felt like the most lovable person amongst the USMNT. Like, no matter what he did, you couldn't hate him. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Cobi Jones.
No, because Cobi was one of those guys that he just seems like one of those guys that if you are slacking off in practice, he's gonna give you an earful, but then later on he's gonna have an arm around your shoulder, be like, "Come on, man, let's pick it up. Yeah. We can do this."
Like, I've heard people have hate for like Jermaine Jones or Landon Donovan or like Tim Howard, but like Cobi, it was kind of just like, it maybe when Cobi retired, because Cobi left the game in 2007, and this is before social media and sports got really big.
Yeah.
So to me personally, I don't ever think we really saw the downfall of Cobi Jones. Like, we've seen with other athletes. Like, certain athletes, they hit that plateau. Like, for instance, like Drew Brees this year.
Yeah.
You saw Drew Brees, you knew, like, all right, this is it.
He's done.
Pack it up. Time to go home, Playboy. Like, but I don't think we saw that with Cobi Jones. But, he was the first player in MLS history to get his jersey retired, the number 13. But he got unretired because of Jermaine Jones. But to me, I feel like, I understand LA Galaxy, and I feel like if you ask LA Galaxy fans, they'll tell you, like, Landon Donovan, Bruce Arena, David Beckham, those are like the cornerstones of LA Galaxy. But I feel like Cobi Jones is in that mix as well. And and this is just me personally, and maybe, you might have a different opinion, but I also feel like he truly should be the face of the USMNT.
He should.
Not just because he didn't, granted, he didn't have like the memorable goal like Landon Donovan did, or he didn't have,
most goals like Eric Winalda or something.
Or like there's not one memorable moment that Cobi Jones sticks out.
Yeah, but it just the consistency. I personally think it's the consistency, the fact that literally, Cobi has been a consistent face for the USMNT from day one to the last day he played for the U.S. men's national team. Yeah. And he has been an important factor in every single game. So,
I mean, in '92 he was in the Summer Olympics for
in Barcelona for USMNT. 95, he was in the Copa America. That's where he got the nickname Escobar. Played in multiple World Cups, Gold Cups. I mean, and think about it. In 93, this man made 30 appearances for the USMNT.
Yeah.
Like 30. That's insane.
Yes. In 1 year.
Yeah, in 1 year. And normally, like we always find out, he also was a coach. He coached the LA Galaxy really for like
he was the assistant coach
games.
after. I think it was under Ruud Gullit. He was the assistant coach, and after Ruud Gullit resigned, I think it was in 08. Yeah, in 08 when he resigned.
Which, by the way, I did not know Ruud Gullit was a coach in MLS.
Yeah, it wasn't for a very long time. It was probably for about a year, but he resigned and Cobi took the reins until in steps big man Bruce Arena. So basically, you're getting to this point where he's had his, he's had a lot of coaching experience with that, and I mean to take on a club like LA Galaxy around that time, 2008. This is when LA Galaxy is becoming a mega club, like it's becoming up there financially at least, and in terms of notoriety with some of the big clubs in Europe in terms of notoriety. Maybe not in terms of skill level, but this is a big club, and for him to take the reins of that and basically be caretaker manager, interim manager until Bruce Arena shows up. A few years later, he actually leaves and coaches, and not coaches, but is part of the director of soccer committee for the acclaimed and legendary New York Cosmos. And we all know who played for New York Cosmos way back in the day. Pele, the big man himself.
Yeah, Cosmos got a lot of stuff they need to figure out.
Yeah, they do. They do. But I mean, with a club with that much history, with that many big names coming through, you would hope that.
I don't think he's there anymore. Is he?
No,
I think he left. Because he did left. Because just recently he just announced his bid for vice president for U.S. Soccer.
Yes.
So hopefully he gets it. But let me ask you this: with Cobi Jones, do you see? Is there a player in today's USMNT pool that reminds you of Cobi Jones?
One player that I feel has the potential to have the presence that Cobi Jones had, minus the fact that he's a little bit more of an attacking player than Cobi Jones was, is Tim Weah. There is some potential to see, because he has that flair, he has that pace, that fiery, too hard to handle situation. I think Tim Weah is definitely one that could take up that mantle if he works hard at it. If he stays focused and stays fit, because that's usually a big factor. Yeah, Tim Weah. I'm thinking Tim Weah. He's the only one that I can think of. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to see if there's another one.
When it comes to Cobi Jones, like, to me personally, I think his lasting legacy is Cobi Jones' legacy to the USMNT. He was the precursor to DeMarcus Beasley. Just because of the fact, like, he was the face of Black Americans in the USMNT. Like, up to that time, like, I cannot think of another American before him that reached the heights of what Cobi Jones did. That was black.
No. No, I mean, you've got maybe Eddie Pope, but that's around the same time. But Cobi Jones was set apart from most other Black American USMNT players. To be honest with you, up until Josie Altidore, I don't think there's anyone that had as much popularity as Cobi Jones.
Yeah. I agree with that. And this is the other thing that kind of blew my mind. in 2005, he was the last player in MLS to remain with his original team since 1996.
Yep.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he is the face of like two legendary teams in American soccer. Like, wherever your opinion is in American soccer,
and Galaxy,
USMNT and the Galaxy, like, you know, how many times have we heard, especially in early MLS, like players just getting chopped, changed, moved around whenever it may be.
Oh yeah.
You know, so to have Cobi Jones to be the face of your franchise, I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. So, anything else you my man before we wrap up?
Not really. Actually, I do another. I wouldn't say it's a big moment because I don't think any MLS All-Star game is a big moment. I personally don't. But I think it was right after the '98 World Cup. This is when USA kind of needed a PR boost because '98 was a very tough year for U.S. men's national team. They had the MLS Cup. I don't remember where it was, but it was when they did MLS All-Stars versus U.S. men's national team, which always turned out to be a disaster for the MLS All-Stars. But yeah, I remember that game and Cobi Jones coming off the bench and lighting it up. I think he had 1 assist and a goal within 10 minutes. And it was, I mean, of course it was like a 6-1 like demolition. But but he came on for U.S. men's national team. And you could see, even though throughout the game you saw that everyone was treating it like this is a spectacle, this is just for us to come out here and have fun and you know, sell tickets and you know, give the fans something fun. But you could see there was a change of pace when Cobi Jones was on the field. There was a change of attitude. Like I remember shortly after Cobi Jones came on, there was one situation where John Harkes goes over to take a throw in, and he turns around and acts like he's going to throw it into the stands at the fans, and the fans are starting to go crazy. Like, just as you could see the joy and the joy of the moment really sink into the players when Cobi came onto the field. And you could see when he scored his goal, like, just the joy. He brought fun to the game. I can see him as a leader in the locker room being the type of person that would expect the best out of his teammates, but also expect them to enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. So that was one thing that I do feel that was probably a factor that Cobi brought to the game. And I have a lot of good memories of Cobi Jones, and he was always one of my favorite U.S. men's national team players.
All right. So this wraps up this episode of Can I Kick It, where we cover Cobi Jones. If you want to support our podcast, you can do so at the link down below. You can also check us out on Twitter at RiverCity93, Instagram at RiverCity93. If you have any suggestions for future Can I Kick It episodes, hit us up. Let us know. We're always looking for suggestions. You know, we might be two Black History soccer fans, but we don't know any and everyone. So the more it's this project, the more we're willing to do it.
Yes.
So with that being said, guys, this is Elliot.
This is Shanae.
We'll holler at you guys later. Keep us on the good side, guys.